The Nigeria Football Federation has appointed Finidi George as new Super Eagles head coach, with the former international beating Emmanuel Amuneke to the job. George, who spent 20 months as an assistant to Jose Santos Peseiro, who left the post after the AFCON tournament, took charge of the squad on an interim basis during 2 friendly matches in Morocco last month. George's immediate task will be to guide the Super Eagles to victory in 2 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying matches against South Africa and Benin Republic in June. Well, joining us to reflect on the appointment is Nigerian football journalist Oma Akatugba. Oma, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for speaking to us this afternoon. Just give us a sentiment of the reaction in Nigeria on the appointment of Finidi George.
It's mixed reaction. You know, you always have the for and the against. But I think that he has more people on his side. There are people who have been clamoring for the appointment of local coaches. There's this wave of sentiment, you know, going through the continent of Africa of recent, with countries going back to local coaches. Senegal has a local coach. Cameroon had a local coach. Algeria had a local coach, you know, so on and so forth. So a lot of countries are looking in that direction, and Nigeria is also one of them. So they decided to go for Finidi George for many reasons. Of course, major reason is that he understudied Jose Peseiro, the man that helped Nigeria, or that coached Nigeria to reach the AFCON final. Finidi was part of that. So for that reason, they thought that why not let him continue from where Peseiro left off, which seems to be a good idea, because if you brought in someone else, you're going to start all over again. And there's no time for all of that. South Africa is just waiting around the corner. And we know how difficult it is to play against South Africa, especially more now because of what we saw at the AFCON in Abidjan or Ivory Coast. It was a difficult game. South Africa was actually better than Nigeria. So they wouldn't want to start all over again. So they just gave the mantle to Finidi to say, hey, young man, continue from where your boss left off and help us dismantle South Africa and go back to the top of the table for the World Cup qualifiers.
Well, a similar thing happened with the Ivory Coast and their coach, who understudied the individual who was coaching then. So there obviously are expectations from the Nigerian football community regarding Finidi George's leadership of the national squad. What are these expectations? And in your mind, do you think he has the capacity to take Nigeria forward?
The expectations are for us to play exciting football again. Nigerians love beautiful football. We reached the AFCON final, but not so many people were excited, simply because of how we played. We played very defensively. Even against South Africa, we were ultra defensive. That was insulting to the average Nigerian. We have our DNA, and our DNA is to play attacking, free-flowing, exciting football, not a 3-man defense and 5 people in the midfield and strikers all playing as defenders. So we expect a departure from that, from Finidi. Finidi was an attacking player. He was an exciting player who won the Champions League with Ajax, you know, played in Real Betis, played in Ipswich Town, and recently won the Nigerian Premier League. So we expect to see him play that brand of football that is Nigerian, and of course qualify for the World Cup. I think that he has the capacity or the capability, so to say, because I mean, he's been there, he's played football at the highest level. Of course, it's not a guarantee. We've seen many top players who failed woefully as coaches, but it's still a prerequisite. We believe that he has the prerequisite, haven't played the game, haven't won the local league, believing that he understands both sides of the coin. He knows the players playing in Europe. He understands the mentality of the local boys. He will be able to, you know, merge all of that together to build a solid team for Nigeria. I want to believe that he has it. I'm not so chuffed, but I feel that maybe I'm wrong. I want to be proved wrong. I don't feel like he's good enough. I haven't seen the way he managed the 2 friendly games between Nigeria, Ghana, and Nigeria, Mali, where he made only 2 substitutions in friendly games. That gave me cause for concern. But perhaps with the job permanently, he can make a difference.
Okay, so you do raise an important issue, and that's the management of those 2 games where he was in charge. And you've indicated 1 or 2 areas where you think he came short. But do you think, given time and given support, obviously by the millions of Nigerian fans, that he will be a successful coach?
Success is never a guarantee in life and in football. We hope that he becomes a successful coach. We pray, because, I mean, there is this sentiment in Nigerian football, ecosystem or fraternity that wants to put the local coach in a place, of pride. So that group of people, we wish or pray and hope that he succeeds, because that supports the argument of giving local coaches a chance. So we want him to succeed. We hope that he succeeds. Whether he will succeed or not remains to be seen. How he manages the game against South Africa will be critical to his future as the Super Eagles manager, because he's taking up the job at a very critical time. Nigeria will face South Africa. If we don't win those games, win 1 or at least get a decent number of points, our chances of going to the World Cup might be up in the air. And that moment, people will start calling for his head. Nigeria is the most coached team in Africa. We have over 50 million Nigerians who think they know better than the coach. So he's got to up his game. Otherwise, he will be on the slaughter slab in no time.
I think it's like that with fans wherever you look across the world. They all think that they're the best coach possible. But finally, we do know that Finidi George was a member of the golden generation of Nigerian footballers. So he understands the pressure.
Of course he does. And he's actually felt it a bit after being the assistant to Jose Peseiro, who left after the AFCON. I think that he understands the pressure. It's a pressure cooker, actually, the job of the Nigerian national team, because everyone believes that they know better. Everyone has something to say. Everyone has something to contribute. So he knows, he understands it, he's felt it. He's been there. He's been part of the team. So now he's the boss. I think that more pressure comes, actually, because before now, all of the pressure was on Jose Peseiro. But now the buck stops at his table. They say to whom much is given, much is expected. So Finidi is aware of what lies ahead.
Oma, you're absolutely right. Appreciate your time. Oma Akatugba, who's a football journalist, coming to us from Nigeria. Well, that's your sport in this hour. Vale and Kirtley will bring you the latest in the world of sport. In the next, it's back to Stephen.